Hello and welcome to day 3. Great to have you back. So we're going to start by lying down on our backs today. We're going to be doing a nice hip opening class today. So getting into those hips, but as always, just starting with attending to the breath. So I just want you to start as you settle in, just taking a few deeper, more conscious breaths. Breathing into the belly, ribs and chest, and then breathing out from the chest, ribs and belly. And just repeat that a few times, really just starting to open up the torso, deepen the breath, and start to connect to that breath awareness. Breathing in, belly, ribs and chest. Breathing out from the chest, ribs and belly. This is known as 3-part yogic breath, so teaching us to get deep, use all of that beautiful space that we have, filling the tummy, filling the ribs, filling the chest, and then letting it all go fully and completely, strengthening our lung capacity, removing stagnant air from the lungs, and calming the nervous system, of course. So just another round or two of that, fully breathing in, expanding the belly, ribs, chest, and out from the chest, ribs, and belly. And then we're going to start now letting that go to bend the knees. Open the feet apart and just take the knees from side to side a few times in a window wiper position. So just loosening the hips up one way and the other, and then feet bent on the floor. You're going to take your right ankle onto the left knee, open that right knee out a little bit, and then lift the left leg off the ground, holding on at the back of the thigh and drawing the knee in towards you. This is thread the needle, opening up that right outer hip. So just drawing in, finding a stretch that's right for you and breathing with it. I'm going to start to lower that left foot to the ground. Keep the right ankle where it is. Shift your left foot to the side a tad and then lower both knees to the right. You can take your arms out to the side here. And take a few breaths here as you stretch out the front of the hip here. Breathe in and just noticing what you can feel in the body. We're just going to take another breath and then bring the legs back to center. Now fully cross that right leg all the way over. Shift the hips to the right just slightly and lower the knees to the left for a twist. Keep your shoulder blades on the floor and look over the right shoulder. If it feels a bit intense here, you can uncross the legs and have your knees side by side. So getting into the spine and the shoulders. Now bringing the knees back to center, uncross your legs, just take a moment to readjust back to that semi-supine position, and then you can place your left ankle onto the right knee, softening that left knee open and lifting the right leg, holding on at the back of the thigh if you can, drawing it in towards you, finding a stretch that feels good, and just starting to draw in, opening up, loosening up through that left outer hip. And then lowering that right foot down, keep your left foot where it is. Right foot shifts to the right a step and lower both knees to the left. Arms are back out to the side at this point, looking over the opposite shoulder and taking some deep breaths. Now we're going to bring the legs back to center. Fully cross that left leg over, hips shift to the left slightly, and knees over to the right. Again, you can adjust, you can put a block under the outer knee, looking over the opposite shoulder, connecting to the shoulder blades while relaxing into that twist. Breathing deeply into where you can feel this the most. On the next breath, bringing the legs back to center, uncrossing, and just taking a moment, grounding the navel to the spine, maybe lifting the tailbone, And then we're going to just do a few little pelvic lifts. So just lifting and lowering of the pelvis, just 2 or 3 times, just to reset the pelvis after that. And then you can start to hug the knees into the chest. So one knee and the other, give them a hug in, lift the head and shoulders, take your nose to the knee, and then release the head. So rocking up to seated or rolling off to one side if that works for you. You're coming all the way up now and making your way onto the hands and knees in a tabletop position. In fact, no, we're not. We're going to do a child's pose first. So big toes together, knees nice and wide. Sitting the bottom back to the heels, reaching the arms in front, extending through that spine. And if it feels a bit intense, you can bring the knees a bit closer together. And if you want a deeper hip opener, you can open the knees further apart. So just finding what works for you today. Taking a breath here and then bringing yourself up into our tabletop position. Stacking the joints, shoulders over wrist, hips over knees. You can move through some cat-cows, lifting the tailbone, looking forward, and rounding through the spine on the exhale. Repeat that a couple of times. Getting into those shoulders and neck and spine. And then we're going to come back to a neutral spine. We're going to lift that right leg with the knee bent. Start to make some circular motions out to the side and down, loosening up through the hip. And then you can rotate it a couple of times the other way. From there, you're going to extend the leg out behind you, big toe to the floor, turn to the inside of your right foot and open the chest to the side. Option to lift the right leg or keep it lowered. It's a variation of side plank. Now bring the leg and arm down, step that right foot up between the hands. So just like yesterday, check the knee and ankles in line and then lift that right arm for a twist. We're then going to push into, we're going to take the foot out to the outer edge of the mat with the hands on the inside. Hand comes up onto your thigh and you're going to roll to the outer edge of your right foot. So this is a nice hip opener. Keep the spine nice and long. And then bring the foot back down, push into the sole of the front foot and come up to your lunge. Inhale, arms lift. Exhale, palms forward, bend the elbows and cactus those arms down. So inhaling, you're pushing up, and exhale, pulling down. Bringing the hands down to the mat now. We're going to lift through the chest as you inhale. And as you exhale, take that leg back behind you. Spreading the fingers, tucking the toes, coming to a little mini downward dog. Knees bent, just lifting the knees and lowering. Trying that again. That might be what you stick with today, or if you're in your practice with down dog, you can lift those hips a bit higher, send the hips back, pedal out the feet a few times. So just sort of doing your own little variation of downward dog today. And then lower those knees back down to table, ready for the left side. So knee lifts, and we start to open, circle this leg just to get into the hip, one way and then the other. And then you're going to extend the left leg out behind, big toe to the floor, turn to the inside of the left foot, open the chest, lift the arm, option to press into the right knee and lift the left leg or keep it down. Take a breath and then release the arm and help that left leg up front for your low lunge, knee and ankle in line. Taking that twist, right hand stays down, left arm lifts, inhale, and then exhale to release that twist. We're taking the hands onto the inside of the foot, left hand on the thigh as you roll onto the outer edge of your left foot. This is a really good hip opener. Keep the spine long, take a couple of breaths, try not to collapse onto your ankle with this. And then back onto all 4 corners of the feet as you push up to your low lunge. Remember about leveling the hips off, squeezing the inner thighs together, and we'll make some circles this time. Inhaling, lifting, exhale, opening up through those arms. Bringing the hands back to the mat. This time you can come to the knees or you can step back to a high plank. Now remember, with plank, knees can be up or down, or you can stick to a tabletop position. From whichever position you're in, we're going to practice lifting up to our downward facing dog again, or our mini down dog, just playing with lifting maybe a quarter of the way up today. Spreading the fingers, having a bend in the knees as you sink the hips towards the back of the mat. Nice long spine. Take a breath, and then we're going to start to have a little walk to the hands. So this doesn't have to be graceful, just walk it up to the front of your mat. Bend in the knees, hands to the shins, look forward, halfway lift, and then bend the knees and fold. You're going to push into your feet, hands on the thighs as you rise up, taking those arms up, inhale, and then exhale, hands to the heart, Samastiti. Now we're going to turn to the long edge of the mat, take a wide stance past hips width, turn the toes out, coming into goddess pose. So another nice hip opener here, as well as a strengthener. Sit in the bottom back, weight in the heels, hands come to the heart. We're going to take a few breaths here. So this is a bit of a thigh burner as well. Keep lifting through the chest, keep your weight back in your heels, and then take an inhale, straighten the arms and legs, and exhale back down, sinking in. So you've got an option. You're going to continue to do this straightening up and sinking down, or you're going to take the hands behind the back, open the chest, and fold forward, keeping those knees bent, sinking in, and maybe lifting the arms. This is a humble horse. Now you don't have to do this. You can continue practicing goddess pose for a few breaths. This could be an option for next time. Leading with the chest, come back up to your goddess pose, hands to the heart, and then take that inhale, stretching out through the arms and legs, and then coming back, feet together. Walking back to the front of your mat now. Hands to the hips, just like yesterday. Inhale, exhale, fold forward, nice flat back. Bringing the crown of the head towards the ground. Inhale, halfway lift, and then we're taking hands to the mat. You're going to step back to your knees, plant your palms, maybe take a high plank here. Remember, you don't have to go that far ahead. And then maybe lifting those hips back up to downward dog, arms in line with the ears, and then lower the knees to the floor. Now we're going to be practicing pigeon pose. So sliding the right knee as far forward as you can, wiggling the right foot in front of the left thigh, and making sure that right knee is sort of pointing diagonally. Level off your hips and either stay up or fold in for pigeon. If this hurts your knees or doesn't work for you, you can lie down on your back and thread the needle, which we did at the beginning. It's the same stretch, but it won't affect the knees in the same way. So breathing in, allowing here to release the knee at the hips. So we have hold a lot of tension in our hips, a lot of emotion. And there might be something at the moment that you're struggling with. So just breathing that out. And then we're going to start to come on up, push yourself up, lift up, take that right leg behind you. Big toes scrunch to the floor, push through the heel, stretch the leg, give it a little movement, whatever feels good. And if you want to spread the fingers, tuck the toes and lift the hips high for a down dog, you can. Remember to stick with wherever you are at your practice. Don't rush ahead. Lower the knees to the floor and let's slide that left knee as far forward as you can. Wiggle your left heel in front of the right thigh. When you can see it there, slide that right leg back, level the hips off, take an inhale, maybe fold forward on the exhale. So just bringing something to mind here that might be challenging at the moment, that you might have been worrying about, feeling stuck with, and just affirming, I release this. So hip openers are about release. What do you need to release today? Bringing the palms back up, pushing the body up. Take a moment and then step your left foot back, reaching through that back heel, giving the leg a little shake. And then maybe taking that downward facing dog if that feels good for you today. And then you're going to open your feet apart, bend your knees deeply and walk the hands all the way back to the feet, coming into a ragdoll pose. So knees are generously bent, upper body's limp. You can hold an elbow in each hand, take a little sway from side to side. Walk the hands far enough forward for you to lower your knees back to the floor, sweep the feet off to one side and come through. So come a little bit further down your mat. We're going to lower down onto our back using our core today. So either hold the back of your thighs or arms either side. Pull your belly in, roll yourself down, taking a full body stretch once you're there. Bend the knees, take the arms out to a T and lower both knees over to the right, looking over the left shoulder for a little twist. Take a couple of breaths here as we start to wind down the practice. Inhale, knees back to center, and exhale them over to the other side, looking over the opposite shoulder, breathing into where you can feel this. And then inhale to center, ground the navel to the spine, and then hug one knee in and then the other, and start to make some nice little circular motions, massaging out the lower back. You can lift the head up, nose to knees as well if that feels good, making a little ball with the body, but really getting into those back muscles, lengthening them, releasing them. And then lower the feet to the floor, and we just ground the navel to the spine, lift the tailbone a couple of times, just like we did at the beginning. Align your pelvis, ready to lie down. And when you feel ready, you can come into Shavasana or your variation. So you might have something under your knees or under your head. You might bend your knees. You might prefer to be on your side. And this is your time just to settle in, scan over the body, soften the areas that are gripping, that feel tense. And just use your breath to allow you to sink into just a still, quiet place for a few moments. Feel free to let the video play out and stay here for as long as you like. Softening down all the way through the body, letting the breath be steady and the body be still. If you're going to be ending your practice soon, you can start to make small movements, bend through the knees, take a stretch, take any movement that feels good. Maybe a little rock side to side with the knees, or a little hug in. And just nice and gently starting to bring yourself back up to a seated position. From your seat, you can bring the hands to the heart. Have a little check-in with how you're feeling. Have a smile, gratitude for showing up for yourself, your amazing body. And I will see you all tomorrow. Bringing the thumbs to the forehead and bowing. Namaste. Thank you, and see you tomorrow.